What if it rained food? What if Earth was a cube? What if we had 9 lives? What if bits could fly? It's absurd. If money grew on trees, if we didn't have knees, if we walked through life slightly magnetical, it's absurd. Absurd Hypotheticals.
Hello everybody and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Chris Yee and Ben Storms. Say hi, guys.
Hey, I'm Chris.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And say welcome back, guys, because we're also back from our hiatus.
Welcome back. Happy
Welcome
New
back.
Year's. A month early, or a month late.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, for us it's a month early. For you guys, it's a month late.
We have a lot of confusion with regards to dates for this, for various reasons.
So full disclosure, we're still actually recording this before we go on our holiday break. So for us, it's still like December time.
It is not Christmas yet for us.
So instead of talking about how our Christmases were and all that, I guess we're not going to talk about anything, not much at all about that. But everybody, welcome back. It's good to be back.
Good. We're in 2020.
Yeah, weird.
It is weird.
Very weird.
2020 seems really far away from 2000. I don't know.
It feels
if
like
you have to
more
be
of the future.
Yeah, I don't know what like age groups feel this the most. Probably our age groups that like born before 2000. But I still feel like every year is like, just like 3 or 4 years after the year 2000.
Yeah, I thought that for a long time.
Yeah.
Basically, the list of everything that came out in like 2008, that's now, 12 years ago. It's like, what? Like, if I go movies that came out.
Like what came out? What year did The Matrix come out?
That was like 2000.
It was early 2000s. I'm pretty
Actually,
sure.
no, I think it was 99.
99?
Because the 20th anniversary was this year.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
What? When did that come out?
2008.
2008.
Pineapple Express, The Dark Knight, Hancock, the first Kung Fu Panda.
Wall-E.
Are you only looking up 2008 movies?
Yes.
Why specifically 2008?
That's what I decided to do. I don't know, we're rolling with it.
That was the year I picked as being like, 2008 seems to me like it's pretty close to where we're at right now. Like, if you just said, how many years ago was 2008? And I didn't think and just responded, I'd say like 5 years. And I would be, close to 10 years off that mark.
You'd be 11 years off that mark.
No, I'd be 7 years off that mark, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about too much about math this episode.
I thought you said 2008.
He said, you know what? Don't worry about it.
I'm confused.
I don't want to do algebra. Let's just move on.
That's right. We got a fun one today. We're coming back right on form because I feel like we've done this question, but we haven't. Because we've tackled this from a couple different angles, but this is our first purely golf question in how would you improve golf? Chris, tell me what you like about golf, what you hate about golf, and what you're going to do to make it better.
So I am personally not actually a big golfer. I do enjoy going to the driving range and just hitting a few balls, but I don't really play like a real game of golf.
And I think that applies to all three of us, right?
Yeah, it's very true.
We're experts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do find that I have a lot more fun doing mini golf. So I wanted to be like, can we make our game of golf more like mini golf? Can we make like a giant mini golf?
So golf?
So I
Doesn't large mini golf just
so
like
we're
don't
playing
cancel
golf
out
and that's it.
Yep. The end.
So I basically wanted to just like scale up what mini golf is onto the scale of what normal golf is. So like the average length of a mini golf hole is 45 feet, around 45 feet. And the average length of a normal golf hole is around 1,200 feet. So it's like 27 times bigger. So it's like, okay, we're scaling the course up 27 times. That means we need to scale up the hole 27 times, and we need to scale up the ball 27 times. Because I'm going for like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sort of thing. So like everything's giant.
Makes sense.
So even though it is a full golf, it is now a golf course, but it's still a themed mini golf course. And
Yeah,
the theme is big.
Yeah, so it's like the same course as a normal golf course, but everything is big. So after you scale it up, the hole, so a standard hole is around 4.25 inches in diameter and it's 4 inches deep. So if you scale that up, that's 9.5 feet in diameter and 9 feet deep. It's a big old hole. And then the ball, so a regulation golf ball has a minimum diameter of 1.68 inches And there actually is no maximum. So technically our giant ball is regulation.
Huh.
Yeah. And our giant golf ball scaled up is 3.78 feet in diameter, and it'll weigh 2,800 pounds.
I'm glad you corrected that, because 28,000 pounds was clearly too large. 2,800 is a
very
little
big.
more reasonable. Yeah.
And to give us context for that weight, 2,800 pounds is about half the weight of a blue whale's tongue.
That gives me no
That's not
context. That's not how that works.
To give you,
Context is supposed to be something I can imagine.
yeah,
And not even just the tongue. It's half a tongue. I don't
it's
know
half
what
of
that...
the tongue. So
what is
you
that?
just imagine a whale's tongue you cut in half. It's pretty simple.
I can't do that. I don't...
To give you a more normal context for that weight, it is 3/4 the weight of an average car.
Okay. See, that I can handle.
Yeah.
An average car is like around 4,000 pounds.
Wait, so a whale's tongue is bigger than my car.
Yeah, this is also kind of mind-boggling. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate news.
So if we have this giant ball in this giant hole, obviously we need giant obstacles, because obstacles are a big part of mini golf. So I was looking at obstacles. I wanted to try to figure out which ones I wanted to use, and the classic one is obviously the windmill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to make a giant windmill just in the middle of my course. And I found a windmill, like a mini golf windmill that you can buy and put in your own mini golf course, just to see like what size it is. And it's 6 feet tall. So 6 feet tall scaled up in our scale is 162 feet tall.
That's a big mini golf windmill.
It is a big mini golf window. I wanted to see what the size of like real windmills are. So a widely used GE model for a wind turbine is 328 feet tall. But that's like an industrial type turbine. That's not really the type that we want.
Yeah, that's a wind turbine, not a windmill.
Yeah, it's a wind turbine. It's on like a giant pole, so obviously it's really tall. So I looked at older style windmills, and in the Netherlands, there's this village that has like the most densely populated windmill area, I guess. I don't know what you call it.
I don't know that I didn't know you could define areas by their windmills.
Yeah, windmill per capita. The village is called Kinderdijk.
Kinderdijk. Okay.
There are 19 windmills in this village, and they were built in 1740. They were built to like drain excess water from the surrounding area, and they're still there today. But they don't really, so they have like better pumps to do that now, but some of them still contribute to that draining, but most of them are just like there because they're like historic. They're actually now they're UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So, but this is like the style we're looking for, the style of windmill. And in this village, it's actually not the tallest of this type of windmill. The tallest is in Skydam. Yeah. Skydam.
I can't see the words that you're trying to pronounce. I can't see the letters you're trying to pronounce, so I can't help you.
Skydam. I'm going to go with Skydam. And the windmill itself is called De Noord, and it is 109 feet tall. So it's a little shorter than we actually want, but it's probably good enough. It doesn't have the hole in the middle, so we'll need to make the hole. We'll just drill a hole through the middle, I guess.
Or you could build your, plan it ahead of time when you decide to build your 160
No, we need to
foot
get
windmill.
an existing windmill, move it over, and then drill a hole.
Yeah, that seems cheaper.
Yeah, it's more efficient, really.
I also need to extend the sails because the sails don't really go that low. They're not designed to go to the ground, but we need them to block the hole. So we'll need to modify this windmill a little bit, but it'll work.
Can I propose just building one from scratch? I don't know, just for
No.
efficiency's sake.
No.
That seems like way too little work, Marcus.
Yeah. You're crazy.
Okay. It's wasteful, not environmentally friendly.
Yeah, you recycle your windmills.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our windmill. Obviously, we're going to do this for other obstacles too. And you can basically do this just for like, you can get any obstacle you want. Just grab a large landmark or a building or whatever and put it in the middle of your course. Drill a hole through
just
it.
steal the Washington Monument if you need those pillars from that one course.
Yeah, and drill a hole through it. And then you're good. That's your obstacle. But the one other classic mini golf obstacle I was looking at was the loop, because a lot of mini golf courses have a loop in them. That's like a mainstay of mini golf.
The loop is the most bullshit of all mini golf obstacles. I will maintain this until the day I die.
Why do you have a beef with the loop?
Here's the issue with the loop. The loop is like a success or fail system where you have your stroke, and your stroke either, one, gets you through the loop, and it's fine, you did it. Or your shot doesn't get you through the loop, in which case you have made no progress.
Mm-hmm.
Then you might have made negative progress. If there's hill.
You've used up a stroke, and you're not any closer to getting through the hole. And maybe you're off to the side weirdly. So basically it's just like, you keep shooting until you get it, but there's no like, oh, I'm going to do a setup, or, oh man, I'm going to like...
I mean, the only way you can screw it up is if you hit it too softly, right?
No, if you hit it... So if you hit it too hard, it skips. It'll just like bounce off it and like fly 3 holes over and do a water feature.
Right, yeah.
And it depends what kind of loop it is. Like I've seen like metal ones that like sit on the ground, and then it's not the whole course doesn't lead into it, so you can just miss
like a little
the
lip.
ramp.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
you can miss the on ramp.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
It is a problem.
Well, I'm going to take that problem and make it giant. So I found, like I did at the windmill, I found a mini golf loop that you can buy and put in your own course if you want. And it was 2 feet tall. So scaled up, that is 54 feet tall, which is almost the length of a bowling lane. So that's like the diameter of the loop. Now, I had to determine how we were going to hit the giant ball, because obviously it's giant and you can't just hit it with a normal golf club. And in order to determine this, I decided that like the minimum you need to be able to do is to get it through this loop. So in order to get the ball that's our size through a 54-foot loop, it needs to be going 30 miles per hour at the top of the loop. So you're probably going to need to hit a little harder, because it's going to slow down before it reaches the top. But you need that amount of speed to counteract the force of gravity. So how can we hit the ball that fast? Well, I mentioned earlier that the ball weighs about 3/4 the weight of a car. And if you look at conservation of momentum, if you have two things that are equal in mass and one hits the other at a certain speed, that thing's going to stop and the other thing's going to go at that same speed.
And one of those things, the people inside of it are going to die.
Exactly.
If I see where you're leading.
So yeah, that was my first thought. You can use this car, but then you'll die. That's not a good option. So I was looking at safer options, and I decided that I was looking at the crash from the wrong angle. I should be looking at it from the thing that the car is crashing into. And I started looking at crash tests. So in crash tests, they use these thing called sleds. And sometimes they just put the car on top of the sled and they like move the car that way. But sometimes they propel the sled into a stationary car and crash the car that way. And I'm more interested in the propelled sleds. So some of them are motorized and some of them are rocket propelled, so they can actually get pretty fast. They use them to test like rockets and stuff sometimes. So they'll just have like a stationary rocket and they'll slam a rocket propelled sled into it. But we're probably just going to use the motorized one. And the thing is, these weigh about the same as a car. So I found a video of one, and the one that they used is 4,000 pounds, which is the weight of an average car. And the front of them is just like a flat thing that it's like designed to take impact. So it's like perfect for us. And it was in the video that I found, it was going 30 miles per hour. And it could probably go fast, like a little faster if we needed to. So that's pretty much exactly what we need. So I'm just going to find one of these crash sleds, and it's going to be our club instead of our normal golf club. And we'll be able to hit it through the loop and it'll be good.
Can I throw one small wrench in this whole thing?
Go ahead.
So if you're scaling everything up,
yes.
According to sandygogogolfgreens.com.
What?
Oh, no, it's not Go-Go Golf Greens. It's Sandy Go Golf Greens. Because golf starts with go. I thought it was Go-Go, which was a much cooler name.
Sandy Go-Go Elf Greens.
The SWG Mini Putt Pro mini golf surface has a height of 0.4375 inches. So scaling that up, now you have about a foot of grass that you're trying to drive your thing through.
You're scaling
and I'm not an expert on cars, but a foot of grass isn't super fun for most of them.
I did not account the grass being scaled up too.
Does it work if you just put a lawnmower on the front of it?
I mean, you'd have
that cuts
to
the grass as
you'd
you
have
go.
to throw the grass behind you somehow as you go forward.
Oh no, and then it lays a new set of.
It just drops turf behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the efficiency system.
Sure. Sure.
Perfect.
We'll do that. So that was my giant mini golf. Marcus, what did you do?
Okay, so I kind of took a look at this from like a game design perspective, and I'm like, what are the inherent problems in golf as a game? Because I do like, there are parts of golf I like. I like that it's a skill-based game and you can get better, and it's the skill part of it is a nice addition to the game. What's really missing, I think, is player interaction, because there's no play between the different players. There's no dynamic, things happening.
You just take turns.
Right. You could literally do a golf tournament on a bunch of different days, and everyone mails in their results, and some clerk in an office tallies them and tells you who won the PGA Tour. So I was like, how do we get player interaction to be part of it? And first thing is the players have to be playing somehow at the same time. Not just the same day, but together on the course somehow. But golf is kind of tricky because it's hard to get the interaction going, because you have, you start at a single point and you hit a tiny ball across a really big course. So even if everyone played it once, the odds that you'd get in each other's way is minuscule. If you ever play even mini golf, if you're playing with people and you just all are hitting it stroke by stroke, you very rarely bump into each other. So really the chances that you're going to get in each other's way is basically nil, unless you're trying to. So here's my proposition. What if, instead of hitting the ball towards a hole, you're trying to hit another golfer with your golf ball? Now, of course, make them
so
softer.
The golfer, not the ball.
Yes, you're trying to hit another golfer. And now let's say, let's make it, first off, not a hard golf ball anymore. We're not going to injure people here. Not on purpose. But basically, now, instead of just hey, it takes me X strokes to get into here, now we're getting into some strategy. Because it's like a territory control game. Now, how confident are you on your next shot to hit somebody? Because if you miss by just a little bit, you're going to be right next to them, and they're going to get you right back. So there's going to be, I think, this really interesting...
It's going to be like a one hit, you hit them and they're out sort of thing?
Yep, one hit and they're out. And so I think you can kind of loop it back into golf. So let's say, in order to get people to kind of come together, because I can see... people just staying very far away from each other, out of driving range on a course, and then it's just no one ever hits anybody. Because the second you drive towards them, then, you're too close, and they get you before you can get them. So maybe you win, so there's no more strokes. The goal is to win as many holes as you can, and there's two ways to win the holes. One, you are the last golfer standing. Or two, you get it into the hole. So you can still get it into the hole to win the hole. Yeah, you get into the hole to win the hole. Did not realize that sounded like that. But of course, everybody else is kind of going that same direction. So as you get closer to the hole, things get more and more dangerous. So do you want to wait it out in the back and see how it develops? And then, once there's less people around, then you make your move? Or do you not want to take that risk because maybe somebody gets it in and you're still dicking around in the sand trap? So I think this would be a really cool dynamic to get this golf game a lot more interactive. But this is Absurd Hypotheticals, so I want to go further. Are you guys familiar with the show Cutthroat Kitchen?
I am.
Yes, I am.
So for anyone who doesn't know, it's a cooking show competition hosted by Alton Brown, a famous TV chef. And the shtick is that you can spend money from your, eventual prize pool at the end. So it's you start with, the most money you can win is 25 grand. And during the course of the game, you can spend part of that 25 grand you would win if you won. And you can buy sabotages that affect other players. So in the Cutthroat Kitchen, you'll get stuff like you have to cook with this really beat up pan with holes in it, or you have to be tied to another competitor while you're cooking, or your ingredients get swapped out for other things. So I think this would be kind of an interesting dynamic in golf, because the prize pool is going to be a lot bigger. And I think just the idea of hey, the winner gets, $1 million, and people are buying, these sabotages. It'll be I'm going to, spend 200 grand to sabotage my opponent on this round because I think I need it to win.
What kind of sabotages would you have?
So there's a few obvious ways to go through it. So you can modify the clubs. So you can have, you can for a round or for a hole, you can give somebody like a comically big or a comically small club. Maybe they have to use a baseball bat or a cannon or whatever, like whatever the stupid thing they have to use to repel that ball like that round.
Or crash sled.
Yeah, crash sled. You can modify the balls. You can give like this round you have a heavy ball, this round you have a bouncy ball. This round your ball is a cube that's inflatable. It's tiny. All sorts of different balls that you can put in there. You can make the golfers do different things. You can make them shoot lefty behind the back. You can make them have their eyes closed for a shot, stand on one foot, use one hand. There's so many options. And I think it'd be really cool to combine it even with, because now there's money floating around. Because when you make the competitors spend their prize pool, you have to give out way less money at the end of the day. So now the golf courses in these tournaments are going to have, extra cash to blow. So I think we go a little bit with what you were saying, Chris, and we get big mini golf-esque structures that you can insert at your convenience on the course. You're like, I have the portable windmill this round, so I can move the windmill wherever I need to between shots. Maybe I put it between us. Maybe I put it, over there.
The windmill that you imported from the Netherlands and drilled a hole through.
Yeah, exactly. And you can turn the hole whichever way you need it, so you don't just get hit through the hole.
Yeah.
So I think that, this obviously is just all straight up improvements. Like, this is way better to watch than original golf. And I think there's more depth to the game. I think there's more strategy here. Like, you gotta have the skill and precision. I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want it to just be, wacky nonsense. Like, yeah, you can ruin one person's individual round, but it'll be more strategic play than just like everybody has a funny club all the time and it doesn't matter how good at golf you are. Like, the majority of your shots are still gonna be like, hey, I need a precision shot over there, or I need to get myself like in a good position set up and not expose myself to the other golfers.
What's the ball going to be made out of that you can hit it far, but it doesn't hurt if it hits you?
Jello?
I think I was thinking like something like a handball type ball where it's like hollow and bouncy. Like, you can get hit pretty hard with like a tennis ball, and it really
I guess the
doesn't
tennis
do
ball's
much.
pretty good.
Like, unless it hits you like in the mouth, like tennis ball is tough to do any real damage to you.
Yeah.
And so if you use something a little smaller than that, and it's like, less rough, I think you can definitely have something that doesn't hurt as much. But I didn't pick a specific material because I can start looking at different materials, but if I try to make something like solid, like rubber, I'll end up with like a lacrosse ball. And then I have no metric of how much is this going to hurt people if I hit them with it from a 200-yard drive. It's just crazy. So, these are all, like I said, these are all straight up improvements. And not only that, I really like the idea of, you still have like this, the quiet golf announcers, but now they're talking about people's like KD ratios, like as they're going through the course. It's like, oh no, he's bringing up the windmill up to the 100-yard line. I think it's gonna be very good. But yeah, that's what I got.
Nice. I don't watch golf now, but I would watch that.
I'd watch the F out of this.
Yeah,
I'd play that if that was a video game. We should learn how to program, make that into a video game.
Yeah, I definitely need more hobbies. Actually, speaking of that, the whole time we're talking about mini golf courses and like buying them for your own backyard, I'm not sure if I talked about before on the show, but one of the things I 100% want to do in my life once I have a house in the backyard is I'm going to design my own mini golf course and build it in my backyard. Like, that's like a life goal of mine.
You'll be the cool guy with the mini golf course in his backyard that people can come visit.
Yeah, I'm already the cool guy, so I just gotta add with the mini golf course in the backyard.
Yeah.
It'll just make me cooler than I am already, which might be a little bit dangerous, but I'll take that risk.
You get hypothermia, you're so cool. That was not a cool thing to say. See, I'm not cool.
Yeah, you have to learn.
Well, you have to try more, Ben. So you're gonna have to say more things because now it's your turn.
All right. So first off, I want to kind of confirm that golf actually does have an image problem the way that we think it does, where we need to make these improvements. So I looked up a few ways to figure out, like, is golf actually in trouble? So first off, I found a Gallup poll from 2017 where the question was, what is your favorite sport to watch? And golf only got 1% of the vote, which is behind both tennis and auto racing, which are both at 2%.
Ouch.
So that hurts pretty bad. I also want to give a quick shout out. Sorry, bowling, professional bowling, up through 2007 in this poll, it was getting a star, which meant that it was like less than 0.5%.
Really?
Yeah. But then starting in 2008, it just got like a dash, which they didn't even like label in the key, but I think it means that literally no one said pro bowling was their favorite sport anymore.
I mean, I think I like watching bowling more than golf.
Okay, well, bowling's not like a big primetime sport. Like it's like, is curling on the list? Curling's not on the list.
Curling was not on the list. Yeah.
Ping pong's not on the list.
Sometimes
like,
they have bowling tournaments on like ESPN.
Yeah, like ESPN too.
I'll also say, well, we already did an episode improving bowling, but I'll say this about professional bowling, is that I think you have to really care about who's playing, because at a professional level, bowling is like 70% of the time you get a strike, and so you're just waiting for like the 30% when they miss,
Right.
as the interesting bit,
I guess.
and then like it's not that uncommon, so like you have a perfect game chance, and that's about the only real hype that goes on.
Similar to darts, I guess, and I wouldn't expect darts to be on that list.
No, it was not. It also shows up in viewing numbers. So Sports Media Watch is a list of the top 50 like individual event audiences every year for sports. And before I get into golf, actually, we're going to talk briefly about how far ahead of everything else the NFL is. So it was a list of top 50 audiences for like individual sporting events. How many would you guys think are NFL games?
So when we say top audience attendance, like for single game, like
Single
viewership?
game viewership.
Okay.
Top 50 list. How many?
50.
Chris going high.
Yeah, I can't go higher than Chris. I'll say 42.
It is actually 40. It is 43 if you include college football games. For 2018, it was 40 NFL games, 3 college football games, and 7 nights of the Winter Olympics were the top 50. They actually had to have a separate list that excluded the NFL and Olympics so it had any useful data. And on that list, the first time that golf appears is the final round of the Masters. First and only time, that golf appears is the final round of the Masters, which had about 13 million viewers, which is about like 11% of what the Super Bowl got. So golf, not huge viewership numbers. And that's also reflected in the broadcast deals they get. So obviously, channels buy the rights to these events. You can sort of see how they think about these events by seeing how much they pay for them, The current PGA deal is about $400 million a year, which is pretty low on the list, actually. And it's kind of artificially deflated because a lot of the tournaments will have their own deals as well. So, like, I saw apparently the U.S. Open has, like, $93 million a year as well. But that was the only, like, big one I could see. So, let's say they have, like, $600 to $700 million total in their deal. This is pretty low for a major sport. So, and they are actually renegotiating in 2021. So I think our goal here should be to try to boost up their broadcast deal. And I think our goal should be to get them up to the $1 billion mark. And conveniently,
so you don't want to improve golf. You want to improve golf's market share.
I mean, I think that goes hand in hand, right? Like, more people watch it because it's better. It makes sense. Conveniently, there are 4 events right now / leagues that have broadcast deals of more than $1 billion. So what I figure we'd do is go through each of those and pick out one rule or component of each of those, toss it into golf, and see if we can get golf over that $1 billion mark. So the first of those is March Madness, which is the college basketball championship tournament, which has a $1.1 billion per year broadcast deal, which is kind of absurd.
Are you kidding?
Because it's literally only March Madness that doesn't count the rest of college basketball.
God, didn't they? Well, thank God. Didn't they just finally say that college athletes can get paid for their name?
Yeah. I think it might only be in California right now, but it's going to spread everywhere else because, yeah, it's going to happen eventually. But yes, I pay college players. I'm all right. We won't go any further on that, but pay college players anyway. So if you're not familiar with March Madness, there are 64 teams that make it. They have this big bracket, and it's a single elimination tournament. So if you lose one game, you're out, and you keep going until there's one champion. So I say we do that in golf. There's a couple of ways to do it. There's the reasonable one and the chaos one. The reasonable one is that golf tournaments usually take place over like 4 days, and they'll have like a bunch of people come in, and then like a couple times during it, you'll cut down like the top 30 and the top like 10 or whatever.
So you'll only have 64 golfers in the tournament?
So that's how it works now is with this like cut to X number a couple times thing, and whoever decides the best score at the end wins.
Yeah.
But I say every day is a one-on-one matchup, and if you win, you go on. If you lose, you go home. And if you stick with 4 days, you can do a 16-person tournament, but you could add on more days or whatever and get it to more, and it would work out. But this is still pretty boring because it's still mostly just golf. So I say we go chaos, which is one hole sudden death, which is just straight up. Whoever does better on the hole goes on. Whoever doesn't loses.
Oh, Jesus.
I think there's actually advantages to this with regards to like golfer skill, which is that you have to be like a good all-around golfer to win. You can't just, like if you're bad at putting, but you are really good at driving, you can't just make up the ground you lose on like par fives anymore. You have to be actually pretty good at everything. So that's kind of cool, but still is dumb as hell, which is, maybe kind of what we're going for. I don't know.
I had a giant golf ball, so.
Well, yeah. So you know what? We're
They're
moving
trying
on.
to hit each other in my version, so I can't really call you out for being like, oh, maybe it tests the wrong skill.
Yours is
Right.
by far the most reasonable so far.
Okay, that's fair. So regardless, if we want to make golf more like March Madness, make it less predictable. So there's that. Second sport, Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball gets about $1.6 billion per year. Now, with Major League Baseball, we do have one slight problem, which is that baseball is also kind of boring in many of the same ways as golf. And actually, it's a great example of this. I found this list of the, quote, 6 best things about baseball, and the list where it was the atmosphere, when the pitcher for your team strikes out the batter, when your team has an amazing at-bat, having a hot dog and a cold drink, the sound of the baseball hitting the bat or a baseball glove, and seeing little kids at the game with their mitt waiting to catch a foul ball. Only half of those are technically about the sport, and one of those is really pushing it.
Where was this list?
I don't remember. I mostly just wrote it down to mock it, so I don't remember where it actually was, but it was dumb as hell.
Which is the one that you consider really pushing it?
The one that was pushing it is the sound of the baseball hitting the bat or a baseball glove. Because that's not really... Okay.
You can't have baseball without it, though.
I feel like that falls under the atmosphere. I don't know. Anyway, point being, I think that, honestly, be less like baseball, golf. But if we have to pick something, I say we get some dumber food there. Because the one thing that baseball was very good at...
I was going to joke that you said let's take the hot dogs. But no,
Nope.
you're committing.
I'm committing.
It would
Baseball
make
is
it better,
actually-
I agree.
Actually very good at giving incredibly stupid food to spectators. Best example I could find, which normally I have a lot of these because websites make lists of dumb food. This is just the first one I can find. This is, I think, actually is not sold anymore for legal reasons. It's the Atlanta Braves Burgeritza, which costs $26. It is a 20-ounce hamburger patty with 5 slices of cheddar cheese, bacon, and it's served between 2 8-inch pepperoni pizzas.
Jesus.
I saw an article about it where they asked Delaware North, which is the food service company that provides food at the Braves Stadium. They asked how many calories it had. And the response was, and I quote, "We have not calculated that, but we do know the taste is off the charts."
I can tell you the calorie count is also off the charts.
It is
not
also
having
off the charts. Pretty safe to assume that one.
We tried to calculate the calories, and our calculator said overflow error.
Right, yeah, it's pretty bad. So anyway, just, be less like baseball, except maybe better, stupid food. None of this, pimento sandwich bullshit. Anyway, third sport, the NBA, the National Basketball Association. Their deal is $2.7 billion per year. And I'm not going to lie, I tried to make golf slam dunks work. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what would that be?
I couldn't figure it out. I really tried.
What if it's like Can Jam?
What?
Can Jam is a lawn sport.
I've never heard of it.
You know what? We're not going to get into it. I had a different idea though, Marcus. I appreciate your efforts. However, I have the next best thing in basketball, which next best thing to a dunk in basketball is a good old fashioned blocked shot. The moment where someone puts up the shot and someone just jumps and swats it away. That's great. So how do we do this in golf?
Dangerously.
Yeah, well, so I figured out a way because we're not using our hands because that's going to go very badly for everyone involved. So let's bring in something else that's in many sports that are more popular than golf, that golf currently does not have, which is t-shirt cannons.
Yes.
I thought Marcus might appreciate this part of the answer. So I think you have a small team, maybe like 5 people, something like that, that are like your cannoneers. And they are positioned somewhere like in the middle of like where the projected path of the ball, I guess. Maybe there's like some strategy in that where they're going to be. One thing, in basketball, you can't just block a shot at any time. You can only block it until it's still like moving up. Once it's moving down, it's a foul if you block it at that point. So I think we're going to maintain that, because otherwise you could just like literally block it with something as it's like about to hit the ground or whatever, which is shitty. So it has to be still moving up when you block it. It's going to be really tricky. I don't think it's actually going to happen a lot often, because like golf balls move pretty fast and t-shirt cannons aren't super accurate, I don't think. I don't actually know that for sure, but I'm guessing here. They're not really an accuracy thing.
They're probably pretty slow compared to the golf ball.
Yeah, it's going to take some anticipation there.
It's basically skeet shooting, but you have not a good gun.
Right, yeah. So, but it'll be very exciting when it does happen. And even the fail case is still just that spectators get free t-shirts, which is pretty good. So I think this will, bring in some more excitement, no matter how it actually works out. There is also, the Philadelphia Phillies have a hot dog cannon, which is exactly what it sounds like. And I thought about incorporating that too, but if it does get hit by the ball, that's just bad.
So these hot dogs and hot dog cannon.
Yeah.
Are they loose?
No, they're wrapped in foil.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just imagining a loose, uncooked hot dog for some reason. I was imagining uncooked.
Why would it be uncooked?
I don't know. That's just what popped into my head.
I was imagining either just a loose hot dog, which is not fun to try and catch,
No.
or worse, a fully, hot dog in a bun with toppings that somehow get shot up. I'm like, neither of these work at all.
Right. I just like the idea of that one, like the streaks of mustard just like going out from the front of the cannon. No, they are in foil wrapped up like a burrito and launched out.
Ooh, burrito cannon.
Sorry, what would happen in a fully dressed hot dog in a cannon? What would happen, I think, is that the hot dog itself would shoot out, and then the bread soggy with all the condiments would kind of just like loosely fall out of the cannon.
What it would be when you have like in a musket, you have like the wadding that like goes behind the actual shot. So you'd have like the hot dog would shoot out, and then just like this like little cloud of bread.
It'd make it go faster, probably. It'd lube up the cannon.
Exactly. Oh God, let's never say lube up the cannon again, please. Okay, continuing. Finally, our last heavy hitter of broadcast deal is, of course, the National Football League, which brings in a whopping $7 billion per year, which is also absurd because that's only, there are far fewer games there than like baseball or basketball or any of those. And the fact that it gets so much money is absolutely absurd. Hypothetically.
Use the word absurd a lot just in your natural speech. I just can't help
Yeah,
myself.
I really do, actually. It's kind of absurd. Anyway, clearly the answer here is tackle golf. Like, come on. Like, like what else am I going to say?
Around the bush. It's tackle golf.
It's tackle golf. I thought about, like, punting it, but no, it's tackle golf. Of course. I think this actually could work okay. So you still play in, like, pairs, So you have 2 golfers going, together to each hole. And the way it works is basically you hit your shot like normal. And then you basically have to reach your ball without getting tackled by your opponent. Otherwise, you only get it where you were tackled. I think your opponent gets to choose also if you get it where you're tackled or where you like your shot was. So you can't like cheat your way out of a sand trap or something. Figure that makes sense.
You really thought this through. I wouldn't have thought
I
of
did.
that.
I thought about it. And then I also, so obviously, in football, blocking is very important. It's not just one dude running another dude. There's also several other dudes like in front of them. Unfortunately, we can't have several dudes because by the rules of golf, you can only have one caddy. So you have like a lead blocker. I'm assuming you can be tackled by the caddy as well. And the caddy is obviously going to take the brunt of the punishment because he's going to be, your first line of defense there. But fortunately, you are, in the rules of golf, allowed to change caddies between holes. So you probably have like a few that you kind of swap in and out.
Could you just reuse the t-shirt cannon crew?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. If you're combining these rules, then yes, you're swapping them in and out of the t-shirt cannon crew. Without a doubt. Yeah. You have your entourage of canners / blockers. I don't really know how the tackling part works with putting because that's a much more intimate affair. Um,
just like boom.
right. It's like I also because like I feel like you have to be some distance away.
Yeah, like where do they even for a normal hit? Where do the tacklers start?
I think that generally you probably have to have like I don't know 20 yards.
Okay.
Something, I don't know, some decent amount of space where like the shot can get out and you can like drop your club and then like square up, you know?
What if you only have a certain amount of time to take your shot? And so the setup is you have your opponent and all 5 of their t-shirt caddies lining the outside, surrounding the perimeter of the green, and then but when you get to your ball, a random timer starts.
Oh God!
So and so at the end of the timer, they are loosed, and there's like a big buzz, and they start charging you, which will really increase the tension of getting your putt set up.
Right, yeah. That could work.
And so with those 3 excellent versions of golf, that'll bring us to our Would You Rather section. Alright guys, I have a Would You Rather question here from the big gold book of 3,000 Would You Rather questions, which has been full of bad ones, but I'm very excited for this one, and I think you two will have very different answers. So, question number 2,108 in this good book. Would you rather make a burrito with everything from your refrigerator in it, or a soup with everything from your pantry in it?
So everything that we have in our refrigerator right now or our pantry right now?
Yep.
That's not that much for me.
That's why I think you and Ben are going to have very different answers.
Yeah, I have a relatively well-stocked kitchen, actually.
All right, Chris, start with yours. I'm very curious about your living solo fridge pantry situation.
I don't really have like a pantry. The closest to a pantry I have are 3 boxes of cereal.
Well, there's your soup then.
That's my soup.
Would you rather, yeah.
Out of curiosity, what are the cereals? This is important.
It's just bran flakes.
Wait, they're all bran flakes?
They're all bran flakes. I stock
Why
up
do you
on
have
bran
3?
flakes.
You know what?
Bran flake.
I'm not going to ask these questions.
I stock up so I don't have to go to the store as often.
So bran flake soup. All right, what's in your refrigerator?
My refrigerator.
More
I
bran
have-
flakes.
Well, I actually have a lot of beer because I had people over and they all brought beer.
Burrito.
I have some milk. It's all liquids. I have Greek yogurt. I have peanut butter. I have bread.
Wait, back up. You keep peanut butter in the fridge?
I do. It says, so the type of peanut butter I get is like the kind that like naturally separates, and on the jar it says to keep it in the refrigerator
Interesting.
to prevent that. I had someone else question that before too.
Doesn't it just get really hard? Okay, you know what? Anyway, sorry, continue.
It doesn't
Yeah,
get
you
very hard.
sounded very ready for that question.
Yeah,
Yes, I've answered it before.
fair enough. All right.
And then I don't really like cook on the stove. I actually have like pre-cooked meal things that are put together that I cook. So I have those in my fridge too.
Okay.
So those and a burrito would just be like a normal thing, I guess. But I'd have to combine it with everything else.
I think with the liquids, I think you have to be able to boil them down, like
Into
to
like a
prepare them.
sauce.
Yeah, make a sauce from them.
Like you get beer battered bread at / generic meals.
Peanut butter in there. Well, the generic meal won't be a part of the sauce. That'll be like the base of the burrito.
Yeah.
But I think that's everything in my fridge.
So what would you? So which one would you? I guess I'll ask you at the end.
Yeah.
Ben, do you want to describe your kitchen sitch?
So my pantry would conveniently be. There's a lot of beans in there, so that works out pretty well. There are a lot of sauces, and I feel like the flavor would be rather intense. Because I'm also a fan of like stir fries and stuff, so I got a lot of like, various Asian pepper spreads and stuff, and like pastes.
Make a good broth from that.
Yeah. So I think it would be a predominantly beany soup and also various pastas with just a lot of flavor, but not in the good way.
Just too many flavors.
Too many flavors. I also have a lot of spices. It would be a lot of flavor is kind of what I'm going for here.
And what about your refrigerator?
So my refrigerator is kind of in a weird place because I'm about to be out of town for like 2.5 weeks on end, effectively. So there's actually not a whole lot in there. I know there are some baby carrots and some ham and some various cheeses. So that's not the worst. There's I think a couple kinds of hummus. I have some pickled onions I made.
Oh, good.
So that's,
all
honestly,
that stuff kind of goes together.
all that kind of goes together. I'm trying to think if there's anything particularly weird in there right now.
Is there a shelf of condiments?
There is a shelf of condiments, which is kind of unfortunate. So there's eggs in there. There are eggs in there, so I guess this is a breakfast burrito now, by definition.
I mean, eggs are good.
I mean, eggs, ham, and cheese, and carrots are a little weird. Some spinach in there, but otherwise, the carrots are kind of throwing this off. There has to be something I'm missing. Hold on. What else is in my fridge that's going to blow this whole shit up?
Yeah, I was really tempted to get up and look, but...
Yeah, I shouldn't do that, because that's bad radio. There's definitely... Actually, honestly, there's not anything that really blows it up.
Yeah, all that sounds like it goes good together.
Well, okay, actually, you know what? There is one somewhat problematic portion, sort of somewhat ironically. So I have a couple of jars of that better than bouillon stuff that's like a soup base. That's like bouillon cubes that you keep in your fridge. So ironically...
You can't use it in your soup.
I would have to use it in my burrito instead. And it's just like very salty essence of beef/vegetable. So that's not really ideal. But otherwise,
do you have tortillas in your pantry?
I do not right now. We actually just used the last of our tortillas. It's kind of unfortunate.
All right. Well, I do have tortillas on my side.
I assume in your pantry and not your fridge.
No, we have the burrito. We actually have them in the fridge.
Yeah, I usually refrigerate mine too. Actually,
I thought tortillas you're not supposed to.
It depends on the tortilla.
Once they're open, I'll put them in the fridge.
But
I have an immediate problem because we went out grocery shopping yesterday, and we bought milk, and I went to put the milk in the fridge and realized there was still like 2 other milks in there. And those are definitely expired. So those 2 milks are not a good start to my my burrito life here. I'm trying to think what else we probably have. So I have, like lunch meats in there, no problem. Some leftover. There's like a little bit of leftover pizza in there.
That works.
That probably makes it better.
Yeah.
There's 3 of those Blue Apron meals, so I do have generic meals just in there, which is like a bunch of veggies and things. So there's 3.
But they're all raw. Are you allowed to cook them, or are you...
Yeah, of course you're allowed to cook them. You can cook burritos.
Yeah, you can definitely cook the insides.
Yeah.
Not too much beef tata burritos going out there. There is the condiment shelf. Also, Sarah keeps some of her medicine in the fridge, I think. So I'm not sure what those effects would be.
Could get interesting.
Yeah, I'll have a fun time, or maybe a terrible time. Probably more the latter. But the milk is the one getting me because there's nothing you can't.
Yeah, Ben, you didn't have milk in your fridge?
I do, but I figured I could splash them in the eggs when I'm doing like the scrambled eggs for the breakfast burrito.
That's a good use of it, actually.
Yeah.
No, the milk is the problem because it's expired.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. I did also just realize one thing I did figure out in mine. I do have a partial bottle of white wine in there. So.
Oh no! Yeah, I got one of those too.
Boozeritos are coming up.
You can make like a white wine sauce.
Yeah.
That plus milk already is bad. So I'm not looking. I'm hoping I don't have to do my fridge. Let me think about my pantry for a second. Top shelf is okay. Is like chips. Like I have some sour cream and onion Lay's up there. I got some whole grain tortilla chips. There's some salsa, which is not probably going to be super great.
That's okay. You're making like a tortilla soup.
Top ramen soup. I got some top ramen soup. I got some soup base. That's supposed to be soup. My middle shelf is instant coffees and hot chocolates. That's not great.
See, you say
there's
that.
a bunch of those in there.
I will point out that it's actually quite good to add coffee or cocoa powder to like chili. So it's not insurmountable.
Yeah, you don't have to add like all of it.
I have 0 beans.
Beans are helpful.
I have some cans of fruit, so I have like canned pineapples and peaches, which I'm not sure if those are good or bad yet.
I think that's bad.
A big range of things.
Yeah, I don't think we're done yet. What else do I have? Oh, here's a positive. I have like 10 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
Do you have to use all of it, or you just have to use some of it?
Sorry, not 10 cloves. 10 bulbs. Bulbs? The one that's the whole garlic that you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 10 bulbs of garlic. So this is the garlicky one. I like garlic. And then I do have the cereal. And oh, there's a bag of cat food in there, huh?
Oh.
Oh no.
It's edible.
It is dry cat food, which I think is
No, that's worse.
worse for the soup.
Well, the soup will hydrate it.
Yeah, but wet cat food is basically just like a Vienna sausage or Spam or something. You know, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, so it's chips, coffee, hot chocolate, fruit, cat food, top ramen, pasta. I have pasta in there too.
You have the biggest variety of stuff out of all of us.
Yeah, ooh. So it's basically between that and then like expired milk and meds. So I guess that's what I got. Chris, you seem to be the easiest one. So what would you choose? What would you rather do?
So mine is either cereal in water.
You're basically making oatmeal.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like oatmeal.
I mean, all of my burrito stuff, like, it's all just pre-made meals, and then the rest of it just goes into the sauce, I guess. And that's really not that bad. So I'd probably just go with the burrito, because I don't like the idea of eating cereal with water, even though my brother does it.
Ah, no.
Oh.
Good.
No.
Okay, wow. Jeez. This is a family podcast. Not really. It's explicit. Don't show us to your young kids. Fuck. There, that'll teach them.
I already swore a lot today. So, you know, I got my licks in.
So that was my answer, the burrito.
So I don't think there's anything actively harmful in the soup option. However, I think it's going to like just kill you with flavor and not in like a fun Guy Fieri way, but like actually. I think I'm going to trust in my personal cooking ability and go with the burrito because I think I can make it work actually.
Yeah, everything in your fridge seems like it kind of melts together anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that I'm forgetting that would blow up. I have some like jam, but I can make it work.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. All right, Marcus. You have the worst options.
I do. I'm really upset about this.
I will say, with regards to the expired milk, if you cook it,
I
it will
don't know
probably-
if that makes it better.
well, no, so it won't taste good if it's actually like actively sour, but it won't hurt you if you cook it enough.
Just char everything. Just put it all in the oven at like 500 and just wait 3 hours and just take it out then. And I'll just eat like asbestos. That's how you make asbestos. Just put everything in your fridge together and burn it. I mean, everything the wet cat food.
Cat food's pretty bad.
Yeah, the cat food, that's definitely the worst of your pantry, is the cat food.
Oh, no. Ugh. I can't.
What flavor is the cat food?
It's healthy adult flavored.
My favorite kind of adult.
It's healthy cat adult flavored. I think I just nothing is toxic in the pantry, so I'll go with the pantry. So maybe after the experience of eating it is done, at least maybe I won't be like on the toilet for the next like month.
I don't know if you can make that claim, sir.
Yeah, but I feel like the odds are slightly better there. Man, it's just no good. It's no good for anybody on either of those. I'm gonna pick pantry, and just knowing that none of my options were good.
Right.
Okay, so we got 2 burritos and 1 soup.
Ah,
That is a sad
let's
soup.
never speak of this again.
Yeah, and if you want to help us get some more stuff in our pantries, namely Chris, who has just cereal in it.
Let me buy a 4th box of cereal.
Yeah, so you could buy a 4th box cereal, no problem, if we get a couple more Patreons on our Patreon page. If you are one of our good Absurd Hypothetical pals, for just $1 a month, you get access to our Patreon. Your support means the world to us, and also you get access to our special behind-the-scenes episode that we release every month. We even did one while we were on hiatus just, a few weeks ago. And it's kind of a more laid-back, casual hangout with us where we talk about the previous month's questions and kind of just chat about how we make the show.
There's one that comes out this week, and it's the one that we talk about absolutely nothing. We had no topic to talk about.
Yeah, we don't know what that one's about yet because we haven't actually recorded it
Right.
as the time of this recording. But yeah, we don't have any questions from the previous month to talk about, which usually makes up like about half of the episode.
So
And now we're just going to have to fill it with noise.
we'll wing it.
So-
It'll be fun. Listen
Yeah,
to
we're just
that.
going to wing it. We're going to have no plan. It's going to be great. But yeah, it's for the people, if you're enjoying the show and you want to hang out, get a bit more of our casual real life personalities, I guess. Not that we're not ourselves on this show, but again, it's a little bit more laid back. It's more content for your ears if you want us for more than once a week. So go on to that Patreon, www.patreon.com/absurdhypotheticals. Click on whatever button is there. Should be fairly intuitive from that point forward. You are on your own. Best of luck, adventurer.
Is a become a patron button.
You spoiled this. You spoiled the mission.
I want to make it easier for them.
Don't spoil.
want it to be
you
hard.
want it to be easy, but Gandalf didn't go to Frodo and be like, "Hey, by the way, there's a big spider in a cave." He's like, "You're gonna find that on your own. It's gonna be sweet."
Yeah, but it took him like 3-hour movies to do that. We want them to do it immediately.
Well, that's what we get for having modern conveniences. But anyway, after you come back from your long adventure to the Patreon page, you can join us next week, where for Valentine's Day we will be doing a grab bag of questions.